Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to share with you my tiny Xerjoff collection. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about why I like this house and why I have the fragrances that I do, and then other fragrances I want to add to my collection. So if you'd like a little Xerjoff discussion with me, then keep watching. Now, I purchased all of these fragrances, so none of these were sent to me. And just to kind of remind you guys, hi, my name's Kristin. I run this channel. I don't know why I called it Beauty Meow. I've been considering changing the name. But anyway, if you like fragrance-related content, discussion, reviews, I post new videos on Monday through Friday, so don't forget to subscribe. And if you like this type of content, there is a thumbs up button. Feel free to give that a little ding-a-ling. And if you don't like this video, you can give the little thumbs down button a ding-a-ling. Whichever ding-a-ling you want, I am here for it. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about Xerjoff fragrances. I only own, let me count, 6 bottles in my collection. I don't own that many fragrances from this house, but I do love this house. So I wanted to share with you my tiny collection, kind of talk to you why I don't own more bottles, and talk to you guys about why I have the bottles that I do. So let's get into it. Now, instead of ranking these fragrances, I'm going to share them with you in the order that I purchased them and kind of explain to you why. Now, one of the reasons why I didn't purchase a lot of Xerjoff is I have been given a lot of samples and decants by you guys actually. Some subscribers have been incredibly generous in sending me fragrances that they wanted me to try. And one of you guys sent me an insane amount of fragrances, a lot of Xerjoff, and just really beautiful and amazing scents that I probably wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to try. So thank you to everyone who has ever sent me any samples to explore and discover. You have no idea how much that influences my buying purchases. On top of that, I've had decants, you know, some places have pocket perfumes and things like that that were sent to me that I've had the ability to try. And I'm not saying pocket perfume as it's what it's called, but like 5 to 8 to 10 ml travel atomizers. I've had a lot of Xerjoff in my collection that has not been in an official bottle. So I don't buy Xerjoff unless I really, really want to, and obviously I do, but it's one of the houses that I wait until I am out of a sample or decant until I purchase, unless there's a deal that's too good to pass up. The very first bottle of Xerjoff I bought is Ibitera from obviously Xerjoff, and this really started my love affair with Xerjoff and Iris. And obviously I love Iris. I've talked about this before, but Xerjoff's ability to really put this gorgeous, rare, expensive, and beautiful note on a pedestal in a variety of unique and different ways is something that I really cherish. I think I love Xerjoff's Iris scents more than their oud scents, and that's saying something. But a lot of times the Iris isn't front and center. In other cases, it's there, but it's so beautiful that obviously I just have to love it. Ibitira is a beautiful Iris Rose combo, and I'm just letting you guys know now, if I have reviews of any of these guys, they will be linked below. I'm not going to go too much into reviews. This is a fragrance I bought myself for my birthday, and it's something that I absolutely love. It's a mature and elegant fragrance that just smells so sexy on everybody, and it's just one that I absolutely had to have. The top takes forever to come off though. It just smells soft and powdery, but there's a brightness and a sparkle to this, and the rose is just gorgeous. So I have a big old bottle of it in the classic bottle. I love these bottles. I miss these bottles, but it's just such a gorgeous scent. And it was the first one I truly wanted to buy just because of the composition and just, I don't know why. It just really spoke to me. The second one I bought was one that I actually purchased as, I would say, Whim. I bought this blind. I was really excited for this scent actually, and oh, grabbed the wrong bottle. And first and foremost, the marketing, the bottle. This is one of the coolest bottles, and it's Apollonia, and I said it wrong, and it's obviously from Xerjoff. Now, the reason why I love this scent is this is another beautiful, gorgeous Iris scent. The carrot in here is nice and strong, and carrot is such a beautiful just addition to any iris. I mean, I think they go together so well. It's like amber and vanilla. They just are meant to be. And this is just powdery and ethereal and dusty and just gorgeous. And it's just, the bottle is stunning. The fragrance is stunning. I love the inspiration behind this. And I just was at a place where I had the money to get it. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pre-order this. So I got it. And I'm really happy I did. Next up is one that a lot of people love. This is probably one of the more wearable fragrances for most people. Not everybody, but for most people. And it's Ivory Root. Now this fragrance is a gorgeous, luscious, gourmand fragrance. It's creamy and delightful. It's spiced and it's warm and it's unctuous. That's the right word to use. It's just a fantastic fragrance to wear, very wearable, very appropriate in most situations. Even though it's a creamy, spicy, warm gourmand, you can wear it in hot weather. And there's just something about this scent that I just find to be mass appealing in all the most positive ways. And it's just a fragrance, again, that I had decants of and samples of. And I just had to get around to finally getting a bottle of it because it's just so amazing. Next is probably one of the fragrances that had been on my must-buy list, wish list for a very long time. And if you guys, like I said before, if you would like a wish list, I'd be more than happy to share with you what is on my current wish list. But it is Iris. Now this is the newer formulation. I do love the newer formulation, but I am desperately trying to track down a bottle of the older formulation. That is spectacular in my honest opinion, but that is not what we're talking about today. We're talking about the bottles in my collection. Now I had sampled both the older and newer and I liked them both amazingly a lot. Like, I know that's not the right way to say it, but there was no problem in my mind with purchasing this. And it is gorgeous, gorgeous. This still cost me hundreds of dollars, just letting you guys know, like, this is still pricey. This is a pricey fragrance. But when you smell it, you can understand why. Now, not everybody likes iris, and a lot of people like iris as components or parts of compositions to elevate aromatic fragrances or to soften things up or to make things a little bit more mature without relying too much on like really heavy white florals or overpowering challenging musks. I think iris is a beautiful, timeless note, and it is very appropriate in men's and women's fragrances. And whenever it takes center stage, it makes an impact. And I think in the original, it was more impactful, a little bit more wispy and ethereal and light and delicate. This is a little bit more kind of in your face, a little bit stronger. It loses the delicate balance that the original had, in my opinion, more of the iris. This is a little less of the iris, but still iris, still fantastic. And this is a fragrance that quite literally was on my must-buy list for years. And I finally decided to, it was kind of like an early birthday present to myself, to finally pick up a bottle of this. It is just spectacular. Spectacular. Next up is Cruz del Sur II. Now this is another beautiful gourmand fragrance. This is a fragrance I purchased because there was a fantastic deal at Saks, and I just had this idea that I've tried it. I had a sample of this. First and foremost, I had a sample of this. I loved it. Secondly, big ol' secondly, I have been on a like fruity kick. I want fruity fragrances. It was summer in Florida and fruits just work really well. And this just smells like a mango lassi, like without the cardamom. It's rich and creamy and decadent and mango and fruity, and it's just so freakishly good. It is excellent. So if you like fruity fragrances, and this is like, even though this is like fruity and sweet and creamy, this is a very unisex fragrance. This would smell dang sexy on a guy. But I just was in the mood for this, so I picked it up and love it. And last and certainly not least is one of my more recent fragrance reviews, and another fragrance that had been on my must-buy list for a very long time, and it's Alexandria II. This is one of the most beautiful, gorgeously executed oud fragrances. You have the complexity that you look for in an oud scent without the intimidating challenges that a very complex oud fragrances can have. It's warm, it's rich, it's spiced, it's a little resinous, but it's also light and powdery in certain regards. And that balance really just plays on the skin and smells really sexy and entrancing. This is a very moving fragrance. And if you have watched any of my videos where I talk about scents, fragrances are more than just, you know, a smell to me. Sometimes fragrances can invoke real emotion. And this is a fragrance that invokes real emotion to me. It just smells ridiculously perfect. And if that's a great way to say. But it is a fragrance that I have needed to have in my collection. I had toyed with the idea of buying a large bottle, but the thing is with this scent specifically, it is so powerful. One spritz is all I need, and I am a savage oversprayer. We're talking 10 to 12 spritz on my body. I am moist. I know people hate that word, and I am sorry. But this one, maybe two if I'm feeling super rebellious. I didn't need a big bottle. If I decide I want a big bottle, I'll sell a small one and buy a large, but I wanted to start off with a small and see how fast I work through this. I think I'll have that for a good long while. So those are the fragrances I own from Xerjoff, but I have a few others that are on my must-buy list. The first fragrance that's been on my must-buy list for almost just as long as Iris and Alexandria II is Picovaya Dama, and I always say that wrong, and it is beautiful. That is such a gorgeous, ethereal, complex, timeless classic scent. Another one is Richwood. I've talked about that one before. It is near masterpiece level to me. It is absolutely stunning. Lyra, another crowd favorite, is on my need to buy list. Kobe, Neo, Renaissance, Naxos, those are all fragrances that I need to buy. I almost purchased 1986. That one seems interesting and fun. I haven't, because I'm trying to be good, because Christmas sucks all of my money out of me. I'm just a tar pit of credit card debt, and I'm trying to be good. So those are some of the fragrances from Xerjoff that are on my must-buy list, and I just think, I mean, I love the house, obviously. Now here's the thing, and I was going to talk a little bit about Xerjoff too, is if you guys wonder, I have back issues, so I have to constantly get comfy because I'm sitting on the floor. Yeah, anyway, so Xerjoff as a house. Now, a lot of people really respect the house of Xerjoff, and I've noticed that with very expensive fragrance houses, they can be very polarizing. If you look at Raja, Clive Christian, even sometimes Amouage, you see people very much agree or disagree with the price point. And I can completely understand that. We're talking about a smell, scented water. Obviously, ingredients, marketing, presentation, that all has a price. And paying noses for their creativity, talent, and experience, that has a price too. So I understand that the price point of fragrances can be, low, affordable, high, what people consider to be expensive, and then what actual expensive fragrances are when we're talking about houses like Xerjoff and Raja and Clive Christian and things like that. These houses are beyond the realm of possibility for some people. And just let me throw something out there. If you can't afford these fragrances, or if you can and you decide not to afford these fragrances, that's fine. There are amazing, beautiful, fantastic fragrances for a fraction of the price of these. So you are missing something, but you're also not missing out on the opportunity to smell amazing and glamorous and sophisticated just because you can't buy a $500 or an $800 bottle of perfume. With price, you're paying for more than just the smell. You're paying for a lot of different things that go into it. And I've talked about that before in different videos, but I'm never gonna sit here and say, how dare you not spend $300 on a bottle of perfume? You're not a real aficionado. That is not how this works. But with Xerjoff, it is a luxury niche fragrance house, and they have luxury niche prices. And what I love about this house is that I find, me personally, in my opinion, that they are one of the few luxury fragrances houses where I can agree with the price point. Now, there are some fragrances out there where there might be a few fragrances from the house where I agree with, but in a whole, I don't agree with the price point. Cough, cough, Jo Malone. I do love Jo Malone, but I find some of their fragrances are overpriced mostly because of the longevity. But Xerjoff is one of those houses that always blows me away when it comes down to their composition, when it comes down to its performance and presentation. The presentation of these fragrances, even the more affordable bottles, has always been outstanding. The bottles feel heavy and they feel like they have purpose. The packaging sometimes is amazing. I got little meteorites with this fragrance. That is awesome. Everything about the experience of Xerjoff is top-notch, top shelf from start to finish. And you could like the composition, not like the composition, but I just personally think that when you're paying top dollar for something, you should get top dollar experience. And when it comes down to bottle to box to fragrance, I find that you get what you pay for in most cases. Now, the nice thing about Xerjoff is that their fragrances tend to have fantastic performance and also tend to not be things that you need to overspray. Again, coming from a rabid oversprayer. So with these fragrances, you don't need to get a big bottle even if you wear it a lot, because more likely than not, if you're somebody that sprays 6 to 8 sprays, even on the more fresh side of Xerjoff scents, you're going to be spraying at least a third less. So you don't need to invest in the bigger bottle unless you want to. They do go a long way. And I do like the idea very much that these fragrances last, even though for me personally, longevity is not a deciding factor most of the time. I have no problem reapplying. For a lot of people, longevity is a huge deal breaker, especially for luxury fragrances. And this is a house that most of the fragrances I smelled, from freshies to more complex, deep, woody aromatic scents to gourmands, they all seem to have amazing longevity. So if that is an issue when it comes down to expensive fragrances, Xerjoff is a house that I myself have had absolutely no issues with. At the end of the day, Xerjoff is a very quality house that has a huge cult following for a lot of different reasons. On top of its prestige, because of its price point, its beautiful compositions, and just overall luxurious experience, a lot of people genuinely enjoy this house, and I am definitely a fan. It's not a house that I will just buy just to buy, even if I have the money for it, because I like to make more thoughtful purchases with certain houses. This is one of those houses. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to overall quality, this is one of the houses that's been most consistent in regards to quality and experience. So I do definitely love this house and enjoy them very much. But that is my opinion. These are my fragrances. And again, Xerjoff didn't ask me to do this video. I've been wanting to do this video for a bit, and I purchased every single one of these. I mean, like, I've invested a lot of money in this house, and I definitely love them. But I would love to know what you guys think of the house, because just because I think they're great, you might not agree. So let me know what you guys think, again, below in the comment section. Do you agree with Xerjoff's price point? Do you think that they're overpriced? Do you think that they're overhyped? Or do you love them? Or are you one of the people where you have some fragrances that you love and some fragrances where you're like, not so much? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.